The alien market was loud. Voices shouted. Lights blinked. Traders from many planets sold strange things, glowing fruit, robot pets, even old weapons. But one stall had something different. A dirty cage sat on a metal platform. Inside it, a woman sat with her knees pulled to her chest. Her skin was pale blue, her hair tangled and dry. She didn't lift her head. She didn't speak. Her body shook like she was cold or afraid. The alien seller hit the cage with a metal stick. "Come on, look alive. She's still breathing, see?" He shouted, "Only 5 credits, 5. The crowd laughed. A fat lizard man pointed. "5? That's too much for broken junk." "Does she even walk?" asked a green-skinned female alien, covering her nose. "She stinks," the seller laughed. "She walks, talks too. But she's quiet now, probably scared or dumb." "Either way 5 credits, take her or leave her." The crowd started to leave. No one wanted her, but one man stayed. He was human. Tall, quiet, with short dark hair and a long coat. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. He stood at the edge of the stall watching the girl. He saw her hands shaking, dirty, with small scars. He saw her neck thin, bruised, and then he saw her eyes. She lifted her head for just 1 second. Their eyes met. Her eyes were golden, bright, and full of pain. Not fear, not madness, pain, deep and silent. The human didn't move. He looked at her like she was a puzzle he had just solved. The seller noticed him. "You, human, you want her? She's cheap. 5 credits, that's nothing for your kind." The human didn't answer. He stepped closer. The crowd turned back to watch. Whispers started. "He's not serious. Humans are strange. Maybe he likes broken things." The seller smiled wide. "Good choice, sir. No refunds. No returns. She's yours." The human reached into his coat and dropped 5 small glowing coins on the table. Then he walked to the cage. The girl backed away. Pressing against the bars, "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you." The seller opened the cage and pushed her out. She fell to the ground. The human caught her before she hit the floor. She was light. Too light. He helped her stand. She didn't speak. Just looked up at him with tired eyes. "Come," he said. "You're safe now." The market laughed behind them. 5 credits. She's broken. He'll throw her away tomorrow. But the human didn't listen. He walked with her through the crowd. Slowly, gently, like she mattered, they reached a small ship at the edge of the landing docks. The human opened the door and led her inside. The ship was simple but clean. He guided her to a soft chair. She sat, still silent. He poured her water and gave her a small food bar. She didn't touch it. "You need to eat," he said. She looked at the food, then at him. Her lips moved. A whisper came out. "Why?" He blinked. "Why, what? Why did you?" "By me?" she asked. Her voice was dry, cracked like old stone. He sat across from her. "Because you were there," he said. "Because no one else cared." She looked down. "I'm not useful." "Who told you that?" "Everyone." He was quiet for a long moment. "Maybe they're wrong." She didn't reply. He stood up. "You can rest here. No one will hurt you. I'll be nearby." As he walked away, she whispered something again. He stopped. "What did you say?" "Thank you." He turned his head slightly but didn't say anything. Then he walked into the next room. Later that night, the ship was quiet. The girl lay on a small bed in the side room. She hadn't moved much. Her body ached. Her mind raced. She remembered chains, cold floors, loud voices, the day they threw her in that cage. Her price dropped every hour, from 50 to 10 to 5. "She's broken." She touched her chest. Her heart still beat. Was she broken? Suddenly she heard a voice. The human was in the next room, speaking to someone on a comlink. "She's here. Yeah, I bought her." "No, she doesn't know yet." "But I think they're going to come for her." A pause. "I don't care. If they come, I'll be ready." Her eyes widened. Who was they? Why would they come for her? And why was this human willing to fight for her? She pulled the blanket over her and stared at the ceiling, her heart beating faster. The ship hummed softly as it moved through the stars. Inside, the girl sat in a clean room with soft lights and warm air. It was nothing like the cage she had come from. But even now, she stayed quiet. Her knees pulled close, her arms wrapped tight around herself. The human entered, carrying a small plate of warm food. It smelled good, simple, and gentle, not spicy or strange. He placed it on a tray near her and stepped back. "You should eat," he said kindly. She looked at the food, then back at him. Her voice came out soft, almost shaking. "Why, did you buy me?" The man sat down across from her. He didn't speak right away. His face stayed calm, but his eyes showed something deep, like he was remembering something painful. "You remind me of someone," he said at last. She tilted her head slightly. "Who?" He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Me," she blinked. He leaned back in the chair and looked up at the ceiling. "I was young, lost in a war. My ship crashed. Everyone thought I was dead. I was captured, sold, thrown into a mine to work like a slave." He paused. "I didn't speak for weeks. I didn't eat. I wanted to disappear." She stayed silent, watching him. "One day, someone pulled me out. Didn't know me, didn't want anything. Just said, 'You're still human. Don't forget that.'" He looked at her now. "I didn't forget. And when I saw you, I saw that same look in your eyes." Her throat tightened. She picked up the food slowly and took a small bite. Warm, soft, safe. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded once. "What's your name?" She hesitated. "Leary. That's a nice name. What's yours?" "John." She looked at him longer this time. His eyes were sharp, like a soldier's, but his voice was gentle, like someone tired of fighting. Leary glanced down at her hands. "I don't know how to be free." "You don't have to figure it out today," John said. "Just breathe, rest, heal." Later, as the ship moved quietly through space, Leary stood by the window. She looked out at the stars, so many stars. She didn't even know what system they were in. Behind her, John worked at the control panel, typing in flight paths and checking data. "Where are we going?" she asked. "A small planet called Marin 7. Quiet, safe. I have a friend there who owes me a favor." Leary walked closer. "Why help me so much?" "I'm not special." John paused typing. He didn't turn. "Someone out there thinks you are?" She frowned. "What do you mean?" He looked over his shoulder. "Before I bought?" I got a message. Anonymous, said a woman with gold eyes would be at the market. Said she was in danger." Her stomach tightened. "You went there?" "For me," John nodded. "I had to see for myself." "Who sent the message?" "I don't know. But they said someone powerful is looking for you." Leary turned away, her voice barely above a whisper. "Then I have to leave." "You're in danger because of me." John stood. "No." She looked up, surprised. "I don't run from people like them," he said. "And neither should you." Leary's hands trembled. "They hurt me. They chained me. They said I was useless." "Were they right?" Her lip quivered. John walked closer, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "You're not useless, Leary. You were just in the wrong hands." That night, John locked the ship's doors and checked the outer sensors. Just in case, Leary sat in her room, touching her wrist where old marks still showed. Her memories came back like smoke-cold labs, bright lights, needles, commands shouted in alien tongues. They called her failed product. They threw her away. She had something in her, something they wanted, but it didn't work the way they planned. So they erased her name, her number, and her future until John came. The next morning, John found her awake early, standing in the control room. "I remembered something," she said. He raised an eyebrow. "There was a file. A code hidden inside. I don't know what it does. But I think that's why they're hunting me." John's face hardened. "Do they know where we are now?" "I don't think so, but they will," he nodded slowly. "Then we prepare." Leary stepped closer. "John?" "Yes?" "I want to help." "I don't want to run anymore." He gave her a small smile. "Good." A light blinked red on the console. An incoming message. John clicked it open. A strange voice spoke. "Return the girl, human, or your ship will not reach its next stop." John shut the message off. He looked at Leary. "They found us." She didn't look afraid. "I'm not." "Broken?" she said. John smiled, this time fully. No, you're not. The ship floated in orbit above a quiet moon, hidden behind a field of space debris. John had turned off all external lights and set the ship to stealth mode. The only light inside came from the control panel's soft glow. Leary sat beside him, her hands resting on her lap. Her golden eyes watched the stars, but her thoughts were far away. They sent a message, John said, his voice calm but sharp. They know we have you? Leary nodded slowly. They're looking for me. But they don't just want me back. They want what's inside me. John leaned back in his seat. That code you mentioned, what is it? I don't remember everything, she whispered. But I know I was created. Not born. I was supposed to carry a memory file, something ancient, something powerful. They said it would change everything. Change what? John asked. Control, she replied. Control over minds. Or ships, or planets. I don't even know anymore. They wanted to use me as a weapon, but the file didn't fully activate. They called me broken and threw me out. John frowned. If it's still inside you, they won't stop hunting you. I know, Leary said quietly, and if you stay with me, they'll come for you too. I already made my choice, John replied. I'm not leaving you behind. Leary looked at him. Her face was serious. Then we need to be ready. Over the next few hours, John prepared the ship. He checked weapons, loaded shields, and made sure every door could lock tight. He taught Leary how to use basic defense systems, how to spot a cloaked ship, how to disable a scanner, how to move silently. She learned fast. Her hands were steady now. Her eyes clearer. John noticed the change. You've trained before, he said. She nodded. Combat, language, memory recall. I was trained from the start. I just forgot who I was. John looked at her with quiet respect. You're remembering now? That evening, a soft alarm beeped on the console. Leary turned to the screen. Ship approaching, John joined her. No ID, no signal. Could be a merchant ship, she said. He shook his head. No merchant flies with their lights off. The enemy had arrived. John powered up the shields. Get to the escape room. If something happens to me, you fly out and disappear. Leary stood firm. I'm not leaving. You have to survive. I did that already, she said. Now I fight, John stared at her. For a long second, neither spoke. Then he nodded. The enemy ship locked onto them. Voice came through the comms again. This is your final warning. Return the asset or be destroyed, John smirked. She's not an asset. She's a person, the voice laughed. She's property. And she belongs to the Orion Mine Vault. Her body holds stolen data. You have no right. John cut the signal. I hate when people talk like that. He turned to Leary. Ready? She nodded. They stood together. The enemy ship fired a low pulse, testing their defenses. John dodged it easily. He launched 2 decoy pods and dropped the ship into a lower orbit. But the enemy followed. They're fast, John said. Too fast for a normal scout. They want me back alive, Leary said. So they won't hit? Hard, yet, John glanced at her. Then we hit first. Leary moved to the weapons panel. Her fingers flew over the buttons. Locking on now, she said. John aimed the ship's nose toward a nearby asteroid field. Hang on, he said. They flew straight into the debris. The enemy followed, but John knew these rocks. He'd hidden in them before. He weaved through the field, rolling and dipping the ship between floating stones. The enemy ship struggled to match his moves. Now, he shouted. Leary fired 2 torpedoes. They exploded near the enemy's tail. The enemy ship spun. Smoke filled its trail. John turned the ship sharply, flying up into open space. They're retreating, Leary said. For now, John answered. But more will come. Hours later, they landed on Marin 7, a small planet with green skies and quiet mountains. No cities, no scanners. Just forests and caves. John led Leary to an old bunker hidden under a cliff. Used to belong to a spy, he said. No one can find us here. Inside it was dusty but safe. Leary sat on a chair, breathing slow. I didn't think I'd survive. This long, she said. John sat beside her. You're not just surviving anymore. You're fighting, she looked at him. Why are you doing this? Why risk your life for someone you didn't know? John didn't answer right away. Then he said, because no one did it for me. And because you deserve a chance to choose your own future. Leary looked at her hands again. The same hands that had once been called useless, weak, broken. Now. They felt different. Stronger. Alive. Outside the bunker. The stars blinked above the trees. Somewhere high in orbit, another ship waited. A voice whispered in the dark. She remembers. We must take her before the memory wakes fully. Inside, Leary looked up suddenly. She didn't know why, but her heart told her something worse was coming, and this time, they wouldn't just try to take her, they would try to erase her. The bunker on Marin 7 was quiet, hidden beneath layers of stone and dirt. Outside, the air was cool, and twin moons lit the sky in pale green light. But inside, Leary's heart beat loud. She couldn't sleep, not because she was afraid. Not anymore, but because something had changed inside her. She walked down the short metal hall and found John working on a tablet. He was fixing a cracked chip from the ship's last battle. "You're up," he said without looking. "I can't." "Stop thinking," she replied. He smiled a little. "That means you're still alive." Leary sat across from him. "Do you think I'm dangerous?" John raised an eyebrow. "You took down a scout ship, helped pilot through a death field, and you're being hunted by a powerful group. Yeah, you're dangerous." Leary frowned. "But that's not a bad thing," he added. "You're dangerous to the people who want to use you. That means you're finally becoming free." Leary looked at her hands again. They were healing. The skin no longer bruised, her fingers stronger. "I always thought I was broken," she whispered. "They trained me to follow, obey, stay silent. But when I failed to unlock the memory, they called me a defect. Tossed me away like garbage." John nodded slowly. "People fear what doesn't follow their plans. They hate what they can't control." She looked at him. "But you don't." "I've been broken before," he said, "and I know what it takes to get back up." The next morning, John handed her a small device. "This is a memory spark. If there's still something locked inside your mind, this might help wake it up." Leary held it carefully. "Will it hurt?" "It might," he said. "But you'll be in control this time." She nodded. She sat on a mat in the center of the room and closed her eyes. John placed the device gently at the base of her neck and tapped a button. A quiet buzz, then a flood. Leary gasped as images filled her mind. Not just sights, but feelings, smells, sounds, commands, training sessions, and cold steel tables. She saw a lab. Alien scientists with glowing eyes. A machine pumping data into her brain. She saw others like her. Some failed. Some screamed. Some never woke up. She remembered being different, smarter, faster, but when the data didn't unlock fully, they labeled her waste. One voice echoed through her memory. "If she can't open the vault, she's nothing." But then, one strange moment, a figure in black armor had whispered something to her during a shutdown. "You are more than what they say." Leary opened her eyes, breath shaking. John knelt beside her. "You okay?" She nodded slowly. "I think I remember a location." "What kind of location?" She stared at the wall. "The real memory core, a hidden place, deep inside a lost moon. That's where the original file is stored. They used me as a key, but only half of it worked. I was never the vault. I was the map." John stood up. "Then that's what they want. And what you carry is only part of the puzzle." Leary stood too. "We need to get there before they do," he smiled. "You're starting to sound like a soldier." She shook her head. "Not a soldier, a person." Later that day, John picked up an old photo from his locker. It showed a young human girl with bright eyes and a metal leg. Leary noticed. "Your sister?" He nodded. "She was born different. People laughed at her, bullied her, said she'd never walk, never be useful. What happened to her?" "She became a captain in the Earth Defense Fleet," Leary smiled. "I like her already." John looked at her. "She always said, 'No one gets to write your story except you.' I think you're starting to do the same." That night, something beeped on the bunker wall. John checked the sensor. "Someone's outside," he said. "A single heat signal, close, watching. He pulled his weapon. Leary stepped beside him, calm and ready. "Let's go see who dares," she said. They moved through the trees silently. The moons cast soft light between the leaves. Then they saw someone crouched behind a rock wearing a dark hood. John aimed his weapon. "Stand up," slowly. The figure stood, hands raised. "I'm not here to fight," the voice said. It was female, raspy but familiar. Leary stepped forward. Her eyes widened. You were in the lab. You gave me water when the others turned away." The woman pulled back her hood. Her face was tired, scarred. "I escaped too," she said. "They're coming. The mine vault sent hunters. You need to run." Leary didn't move. "No more running." "You don't understand," the woman said. "They have a new tool now. A mine breaker, it finds you and rips your thoughts apart." John's grip tightened. "Let them come. We're ready." The woman looked at Leary. "You found someone who believes in you." "Don't lose that," Leary nodded. "I won't." Back inside the bunker, John looked at Leary with calm pride. "You're not broken." Leary smiled softly. "No, I'm finally waking up." The sun was just rising over the trees of Marin 7. A golden light slipped through the cracks of the bunker door. John stood outside, scanning the horizon with a scope. Everything seemed still, too still. Inside, Leary checked her bag. She had packed food, tools, and a data chip with the memory map inside. Her hands moved with purpose. Today, they were going to leave. John came in. "We move at noon. The shuttle's charged." "But I don't like the silence," Leary nodded. "They're out there, waiting." He placed a hand on her shoulder. "Stay close. Don't wander off." She gave him a small smile. "I'm not who I was, John. I won't break so easily now." "I know," he said, "but I'm still going to protect you." While John went to double-check the launch site, Leary stepped outside. The trees swayed gently. The air was fresh. Cool. For a moment, she felt like she was on a world that didn't know her name. A world where no one hunted her. She walked a little farther, following a trail of soft light through the trees. She saw a flower glowing on a rocket's petals, wide, humming gently. She leaned forward and touched it. Snap. A twig broke behind her. She turned. A shadow moved, too fast. Her mouth opened to shout, but a sharp sting hit her neck. Darkness swallowed her. John ran back to the bunker, breath heavy. The launch area had been untouched, but the silence had started to scream. "Leary?" he called. No answer. He grabbed his weapon and scanned for heat signals. Their faint moving. Fast through the forest, he bolted forward. He found the glowing flower first, then her boot. He picked it up, heart pounding. "Leary?" No reply. His wrist buzzed. An unfamiliar voice. "We have what we came for. Do not follow. She won't remember you after we're done." John's jaw clenched. He raised his wrist to his mouth. "You don't know me, but I'm coming." Leary woke up strapped to a cold table. Metal bands held her arms and legs. Bright lights hurt her eyes. Figures stood around her. Sharp eyes, cold hands. One wore silver armor. His voice was smooth and sharp like a knife. "Leary, you've caused us much trouble." She didn't answer. "Still defiant?" he asked. "No matter. That will change." He held up a device. A small needle buzzed at the end. "This is a mind breaker. It won't harm your body, just erase your will, your choices, your memories." Leary clenched her teeth. "You'll never get what you want." The silver-armored man smiled. "We don't need you to give it. We'll take it." Meanwhile, John launched his personal recon drone. It flew fast over the trees, scanning for tech signals. There, an energy spike, hidden cave. South Ridge. John grabbed his pulse rifle, loaded smoke grenades, and took off running. He moved like a ghost, silent, fast, furious. In 10 minutes, he reached the cave. Guards stood at the entrance, heavily armed. John didn't stop. He tossed a flash grenade. White light, screams. He rushed in. Dropping 2 guards with stun rounds, he moved deeper into the cave, following the blinking signal on his wrist. Inside, Leary screamed. The needle touched her temple, and her vision blurred. Memories flashed. John's voice, the forest, the old woman in the lab. "You are more than what they say." She gasped. The man leaned close. What are you remembering, little key? Suddenly, the lights went out. The room turned red. An alarm blared. Intruder alert, the armored man growled. He's here! Leary smiled weakly. Told you. John burst through the door, pulse rifle raised. He saw Leary on the table, eyes open, wires in her neck. The silver-armored man turned. You're too late. John fired. The blast hit the man's shoulder, sending him flying. Guards rushed in. John moved like lightning, firing, dodging, dropping enemies one by one. He reached Leary and ripped off the wires, her eyes locked on his. You came. Always. He said, behind you. John turned, took a hit to the side, but stayed standing. He shot the last guard and grabbed Leary. We're leaving, she nodded, weak but aware. They ran through the halls. Lights flickered. Smoke filled the air. Explosions shook the ground behind them. John had set charges on his way in. The cave was collapsing. They reached the exit. Light poured in, but just before they escaped, the armored man appeared, blood on his mouth, eyes glowing red. You can't keep her. John raised his weapon, but Leary stepped in front of him. No, she said. He can't keep me. She raised her hand. Energy sparked from her fingers. The memory spark had done something. Something new. A blast of golden light shot forward, knocking the man back into darkness. He didn't rise again. Outside, John and Leary collapsed beside a rock, breathing hard. You okay? He asked. She nodded, smiling. I remember everything now. John looked at her, surprised. What happens now? He asked. She looked up at the sky. Now we go find the vault. John smiled back. Let's finish this. Asterisk. The shuttle flew low through the clouds of Marin 7, fast and quiet. John sat at the controls, steering toward open space. Beside him, Leary stared out the window, her golden eyes glowing brighter than before. Neither of them spoke for a while, not because there was nothing to say, but because everything had changed. Leary's hands no longer trembled. Her mind no longer raced in fear. For the first time, she didn't feel like a piece of broken property. She felt like herself. John glanced at her. You holding up? She looked over, her voice calm. I'm ready. He nodded. The vault moon's not far. Old. Coordinates led to it, hidden behind a dead star, cloaked in static fields. Will it be guarded? She asked. Not by guards, John said. By the moon itself. Booby traps, old security drones. And probably systems that haven't been touched in 100 years. Leary gave a small smile. Then we knock first. They reached the moon a few hours later. It looked abandoned gray rock. Cracked surface, floating debris, but Leary felt something, a hum deep in her chest. The memory is calling, she whispered. They landed near a cliff. An old doorway carved into stone opened with a soft hiss. John checked his scanner. No signals, but that doesn't mean safe. Leary led the way. They walked into a dark hallway lit by flickering blue lights. Dust floated in the air. Symbols covered the walls, alien runes that shifted when Leary passed them. She raised a hand. The door ahead unlocked itself. John stared. It's reacting to you, Leary nodded. I was made to open this place. Now I understand why I never could. Before, why? He asked. Because I had no will of my own, she said. Now I do. Deeper inside, they reached a large chamber. At the center stood a glass-like core floating above a control ring. Leary stepped forward. This is it. She reached toward the core and it pulsed. Lights filled the room. Holograms flickered on. Faces, codes, star charts, wars, secrets. John's eyes widened. This isn't just a memory vault. It's a weapon vault, Leary nodded. And peace vault. Depends on who uses it. Just then, an alarm sounded. John turned. We're not alone. A blast door slammed behind them. A voice echoed in the chamber. You found it. But it won't be yours. The silver-armored man stepped out from the shadows, burnt and bruised but alive. You? John growled. The man laughed. You thought that light could kill me? Fool. I am part of the vault too. I was the protector. Until they changed the plan and replaced me with her. He looked at Leary with venom. She was the failed one, the quiet one. They threw her out. But now she thinks she matters. John raised his rifle, but Leary stepped forward. No, John, she said. This is mine. The armored man rushed at her faster than before, but Leary was faster now too. She stepped aside, spun, and kicked him in the back. He stumbled. She raised her hand, and light burst from her palm. He screamed as the energy hit him, but he charged again, grabbing her wrist. You're not stronger than me, he shouted. No, she whispered, but I'm not weaker either. She closed her eyes and dove into the memory stream. Inside the light, she saw everything: his thoughts, his training, his hate. He had been made strong, loyal, and cruel. She saw herself as a child, trained, beaten, tested. She saw the moment she was discarded, dumped in the dark with the label broken, but she wasn't broken. She was unfinished. Now, she was whole. In the light, she pushed back. His mind cracked. He screamed. John watched as the armored man collapsed to his knees. Clutching his head, Leary stepped forward. I am not what you made me, she said softly. I am more. With one final burst of energy, she sent him flying against the wall. He didn't rise again. The vault core pulsed. Brighter now, a soft voice spoke from within. Access complete. Leary, chosen mind key. What is your command? Leary turned to John. He looked at her, eyes full of trust. She faced the core again. Seal the data. Lock the weapons. Destroy all mind control files. No one should hold this power. Confirmed. Final purge beginning. The vault shook. John grabbed her arm. Time to go. They ran as the floor began to crack, the walls crumbling, back through the hall. Through the stone door, into the shuttle as they lifted off. The vault moon cracked open and exploded in a silent wave of light. The past was gone. The future was free. Back on their ship. John handed her a drink. She took it, smiled. You did it, he said. No, she replied. We did it. He leaned back. So, not so broken now, huh? She laughed softly. Not even a little. The stars above Earth Station 9 shone like diamonds in a black sea. The station hung in orbit like a floating city full of lights, voices, trade, and secrets. John's ship docked quietly. He stepped out first, calm and alert. Beside him walked Leary, dressed in simple clothes, her hair clean, her eyes steady. She looked nothing like the trembling girl sold in a cage for 5 credits, but as they entered the trade square, eyes turned. Some whispered. Some pointed. A few gasped. Because standing in the center of the station was a silver-eyed alien trader, the same one who had once laughed at her in the market. She's the one, he said loudly. I remember her. 5 credits. That's what she cost? A few people chuckled, but John stepped forward. And now she's worth more than this whole station. The trader blinked. Leary looked at him, not with hate, but with calm strength. I forgive you, she said. The trader frowned. Forgive me? You judged me before you knew me. That's not power. That's weakness. The crowd around them fell silent. John stepped beside her. You all saw her as broken, useless, but this woman saved a world. Destroyed a mind weapon. Stopped a war before it began. Gasps filled the air. A young alien girl stepped forward. Is it true you were once just thrown away? Leary smiled. They called me trash, but a human saw something else. A taller alien nearby shook his head. Impossible. No one would waste time on someone like that. John raised his voice. Then maybe it's time you changed how you see people. Later, inside a secure meeting room, Earth Station leaders gathered. A general, a scientist, and a councilwoman sat across from John and Leary. We received reports, the general said. You accessed a lost vault. We destroyed it, John answered. The scientist leaned forward. And you, Leary, you were the key? I was part of it, she said. But I made the choice to end it. No one should control minds. The councilwoman nodded slowly. You saved lives by removing that power, but you also made enemies? The Mind Vault will want revenge. John crossed his arms. Let them come. We'll protect you, the general said. Leary shook her head. I don't want protection. I want a purpose. They all looked at her. I want to help others like me, those who were used, left behind, broken. I want to build a place where they can heal. The room was quiet. Then the councilwoman smiled. We can fund that. 1 week later, John and Leary stood before a new building on a peaceful Earth colony. It wasn't big, but it was bright and full of hope. Above the door, the words read, "Second Chances Shelter for all who were thrown away." Aliens, humans and hybrids lined up to enter. John turned to her. This was your idea. And, you made it real." Leary looked at the people arriving, young and old, broken and brave. "I was sold for 5 credits, she said softly. "Now I give hope for free." A child ran up to her. "Are you the one from the story?" She smiled. "Maybe." He gave her a flower and ran off. John chuckled. Not bad for someone who was once called trash. Leary looked at him with a smile. Not bad at all. That evening, as the stars rose, she walked alone to a hill just outside the colony. She looked up at the sky. So many stars. So many paths. John joined her, hands in his coat pockets. "Do you miss the adventure?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, I miss being invisible even less." He sat beside her. "Do you ever think about the first time we met?" "All the time," she said. "You look like you might fall apart," John said. "And yet?" "You didn't." "I did fall apart," she said, "but you stayed. And that gave me time to rebuild." He didn't speak. "Just listened, John," she said. "Thank you." He turned to her. "No one saw me as more than a thing, but you saw me as a person." "You saw my true worth," John smiled. "I didn't see everything. You showed it to me." She looked out across the colony, where lights were turning on in the shelter. "You think they'll laugh at me again?" she asked. John shrugged. "Maybe, but now—" "You laugh last." She nodded. And then whispered the words she never thought she would say. "I'm not broken. I never was. I was just waiting for someone to believe in me." Far away, deep in the shadows of a distant system, an agent of the Mind Vault watched her through a cracked screen. He turned to his commander. "She's building something, a movement," the commander scowled. "Then we'll burn it down." The agent replied, "It won't be that easy this time." "Why?" "Because she's not alone." Back on the colony, John and Leary walked down the hill together. Not as rescuer and rescued, but as equals. Friends. Survivors. And builders of something greater. She had been priced at 5 credits. Now, no one could afford her worth, because she had become priceless.